Got money on my mind, I swear I'm gonna win, even if it kills me. I got money on my mind, the only way I'm gonna rest is if these motherfuckers kill me. I got money on my mind.
Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing the Swell Flaps blanks and taking the Swell Flaps out on the 535 diesel, which is the M57. As most of you are aware, this is a common problem and they have to be taken out on any diesel because they're usually used to control the amount of emissions and to shut when on idle and open when at high revs to clear all the crap out and not to let all the carbon deposits out during when it's sort of just sitting idle. So we're going to be taking them out today on the 535 diesel as they need to come out. It's a major cause of failure on these engines. They get sucked into the cylinder and end up destroying the cylinder, swaps destroy themselves, and you end up with total catastrophic failure on the car itself. So we're going to remove them. These ones are electronically controlled, where the ones on the E39 are actually vacuum controlled. So the manifold's got to come off, as you see right here. We've then got to just take out the plug on the back for the Swell Flaps itself. Obviously all this wiring loom, we're going to be probably using the impact gun just to speed ourselves up. You've got to take out all these bolts down here as well, which there's 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5 at the back here. There's 5 bolts. We've got to get this casing off. As you guys know, it's a 13mm socket to remove this one. Take this off as well and it'll be another 13mm socket right here. Just take it all off, all the casing, and it's easily accessed. We're going to be changing the Swell Flaps, like I said. You're going to have to undo the intercooler pipe here because the EGR valve comes off with it together. So make sure you do that as well. We ain't got to worry about taking the EGR cooler off, as you see here, like most people do, because we ain't got that anymore because we blanked that. So it is quite a straightforward job. I'm going to be putting you on my head mount so you guys can see everything that I'm doing. So let's get to it and let's crack on and start taking the manifold off. So guys, as you can see, I've now got the cowling off on the car. And when you remove the cowling, the next thing you're going to want to do is remove this strut bar right here. Now this is to support this, to make the steering tighter and just to keep the body in shape when turning on these cars, because obviously, as you know, the engines are too heavy for these cars, so they put the strut bar to help control the steering. So as you'll see here, I've just took out the 2 13mm bolts there, which go right here. Now they're 13mm bolts, which usually are Torx on the petrol, so it's quite easy to get out. Next thing you're going to want to do is release these. Now I believe these are Torx 45, and you're just going to want to take the whole tower off because you need to get to this casing, and you also need to get better access to the engine around the back here and all the piping. So make sure you do take this strut tower off to have as much room as possible to actually access taking the manifold off, and obviously get this other part of the engine cover off as well. So as you'll see here guys, we've now got the other bit of the engine cover off. We've now got the strut brace off as well. So now what we're going to do is start accessing all the engine components. So what you're going to want to do here is pull up on these, and as you'll see, the electrical connectors are here. They're held in by some small little Torx. So you just want to take that off, lift that off and take everything out of the way and move this out of the way completely. You don't want to be taking out the injector wiring harness. You can if you want to, but you don't have to on this. Disconnect your map sensor as well. Make sure you take that out, and you want to unloosen this bolt here for the sump as well, which is right down here, as you'll see. You're going to take this bolt off. I believe it's a 10mm bolt, so make sure you take that out because that's bolted onto the manifold as well. So make sure you take this out, which is the 10mm bolt right there. Just use a socket and it should come straight out anyway. So as you'll see guys, that's the bolt that's come out from the sump dipstick, and as you see, it's free. So now it's moved out of the way. You just want to bolt it back up to the manifold after. It's, like I said, it's a 10mm bolt, nothing special, you know. Just be careful you don't drop it as you bring it out. Get a magnet. Good thing about this engine is none of them use aluminium bolts like the petrol ones, so every bolt is catchable with a magnet. So that's another good thing you've got to be sure of, that you'll be able to get every bolt that drops. So guys, as you'll see right here, we're now just going to take out all the bolts, which are all 10mm, and these bolts, just to let you know, do not come out, so don't try and take them out. They stay inside the manifold. You can unscrew them all you want. As you see, they're locked in, you can't get them out, so just unscrew them any way you want, and you just want to go around and do that. We need to release that Torx as well, which we're going to go and do right now. So as you'll see now guys, I'm just going to release this Torx straight out of there, which holds the wiring loom in place, so you can get it all out. And we're going to take this one out as well, which is right there. Now it should all just lift up in a second, which it is now. And there you go, the wiring loom's up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the injector harnesses off to make ease of access better. Now these go in, they're self-explanatory. I don't think I need to tell you how to put them back in. They go back in the same way they come out, which you'll be able to tell by the way the harness bolts in, and you can just move that harness out the way. So as you'll see now, we're just going to unbolt the rest of the bolts. And we're going to need to get a swivel socket to get into that one, but as you'll see here, that's apart from the engine cover that goes back on there, so we need to keep that safe as well. So let me just get my swivel socket. So as you'll see guys, swivel socket in place, as you'll see right here, and released. And that's all you need to do. Just want to make sure all of them are released, which they are. Now we've got that all off. Now what we're going to do is we've got to now just release this from here, which is the EGR in. So again, like last time, we'll just get a pick, pull it out, and move it out of the way. And that's job done. Now what we've got to do is release these bolts right here, which are 30mm as well, or 10mm. So what we're going to do is we're going to try with a 10. Nope, so they're going to be 13mm. So we need to get 30mm on them and just release all them bolts as well. So guys, as you see, these are actually 11mm socket. So what you want to do is just bring up the nut. The nut is quite seized anyway. You just want to get in there and just get it. So what we're going to do is use our pick tool to get in there. And as you'll see guys, I just picked it out very easily, and this all you have to do with this engine, like I say, ain't aluminium, so you don't have to worry too much about losing the bolts because you can easily pick them up. So guys, we're going to go for the next one, which is right here. I'm just going to take the nut off, which you'll see there. Sometimes they come up with the thread all together like that one has, but it's nothing to be worried about. You can easily put it back in. And you just want to grab every single one, which is that one now as well, and the same down this side. I just want to grab it as well. You just want to keep grabbing them all. Same here. You want to grab the nut off that one. Now that's been done, you want to get the one at the back, which is right here. You're going to want to release this sensor on the back, which I'm going to show you in a second. So let's go around to the other side and I will show you. So the sensor is right here on the rail itself. You need to take that off to be able to get the other bolt off. So let's try and get the sensor off. As you'll see guys, it's like a push and tab one, and it pulls straight off. So there you go, that one's now off. And that's for the fuel pressure sensor as well, which is right there. So we want to just make sure we get all the sensors off in place. Now we're going to take out the bolt. I don't know if you can see right down there. We're going to be taking this bolt out right here. And we're going to stick this right there, because this one can drop off. Now we're going to need to get my swivel socket, which is right here. Going to get the swivel and go in. Probably going to need a longer extension as well by the looks of it. So we've got that one released, which you can see the manifold's all moving. I'm just going to want to take this out by hand. And guys, you see me use an impact gun, but it doesn't mean you have to use an impact gun. You can use a socket to do this. I'm just using an impact gun to speed it all up. So now that's released, we're going to be now taking out the manifold, as the manifold is ready to go. So guys, as you'll see, the manifold is actually ready to go and come up, but we've gotten them out, which we can by hand. I'm going to find the ones which I think is this one, holding it down, to make sure they all come up. And there we go. There we go. And now what you want to do is look for whatever is holding it, which there shouldn't be much holding this manifold, and off. Now, I'm going to show you, this is a vacuum line. So this one does have the vacuum controlled swell flaps, which is a good thing. Now, as you'll see right here, you can see the glow plugs. So I'm going to show you about all this now while we're underneath here regarding the glow plugs. So let's go and put this on the bench, and we're going to show you how to get the swell flaps out of here and blank. As you'll see now, guys, you can see the manifold has been taken off, and as I say, it is very, very super easy to do on the diesels. It's nothing like the petrols. You can get it off in literally 5 minutes. There's no vacuum lines running to it, only for the swell flaps. And as you'll see right here, this is all suited up. As you'll see, this is carbon builded up all inside. The underneath is full of oil, as you'll see. You know, it's completely carbon built up, and it's just really bad condition. And as you'll see right here, this is the glow plugs. Now these are the glow plugs that everyone ends up snapping when they take them off. Now the thing is, you got to just prise them in and pull it out right there. Now usually what happens is they get corroded in, so you need to use a certain lubricant, and you need to have a special tool to get them out without snapping them. Now don't try and use the wrong socket when taking them out, because that was what will cause your glow plugs to snap, like a lot of people end up doing. These are not hard to take out at all. You just have to be very, very gentle, and you have to give them a very light turn each time until you loosen them up. You need to turn them back and loosen them to break the corrosion off them so they can come out very easily. It's not hard to get them out at all if you're gentle. You can't just turn them out like you can a spark plug. They have to be turned to break the corrosion and turn back, and lightly keep turning backwards and forwards, you know, until they break out. Each one, it doesn't take long to get them out. Manifold, as you saw, took me 5 minutes to get out of this car. It's very, very easy on these cars to get out. You know, it doesn't take a brain scientist to get the manifold out of this car. As you'll see down here, it's quite covered in oil from an oil leak. I think it's leaking from the rocker cover, as I can see here from the block itself. You know, it's quite common, or it might have been leaking from the manifold. Now, the manifold, it looks to me like signs of the swell flaps have failed anyway, and they're just letting corrosion get in. As you'll see right here, this is the boost pressure solenoid, which you'll see, which is what the vacuum hose come off of. This clips up, and with the vacuum hose right there for what come out the manifold for the swell flaps. So you need to keep that bit safe and make sure you plug it back up to that after. The connector here for your fuel rail, as you know, it goes there. Be careful of all the bolts you've took off, and be careful of the rubber grommets and the gaskets, because I've got new gaskets with the kit, but if you don't have new gaskets, you're going to have to replace them because they do come off, and you know, you don't want to drop them in the cylinder. So make sure you get them all out and lift it up gently so you can capture every gasket like I did. So guys, as you'll see, this is the manifold. Now, as you'll see, this is the vacuum system itself, which has to come off. We need to take that off with small little torques. And here is the swell flaps. This is the main common cause of failure. You need to take off this swell flap rail. That comes off, and you need to put that back on after you blank them off. Now, as you'll see here, these are all the gaskets. Now, these are the ones that come out inside the manifold, so you've got to be careful not to drop them out, because if you drop them out into the engine, you'll be screwed. So make sure that when you take the manifold off, these are still intact. Now, this one is quite stiff in, but this one isn't, as you see, and that could happen to a lot of them. A lot of them can become loose over time, and you don't want that. You're also going to want to replace these O-rings gaskets here, which I've got the gaskets for the whole kit, so we're going to go ahead and just replace every single one on the car, because it just makes sense too, because with diesel you just have to replace them to stop any kind of vacuum leaks. As you know, diesels run off a lot of vacuum, as you see all over the engine, so you need to make sure these are tight sealed and brand new so they stick in the manifold. So what we're going to go ahead and do is get the blanks, and we're just going to go and plug them all up and take this rail off. So guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my impact gun and take out this small little torques, which is right here, as you'll see. So now that's out, we'll leave that bolt right there because it's going to be going back in anytime soon. And then what you want to do with the rail, you just want to lift up like that and take it out. But you want to make sure you keep this rail and the vacuum pipe, because the whole idea, we're going to trick the system into thinking the swell flaps are still there. And now what you want to do is you want to take out each swell flap in turn. So as you see, just loosen them up. They are going to be a bit suited up, so be careful not to rush this job. So just be careful when you do this. You don't want to end up threading one of the bolts, because then you'll be screwed. Now these don't go in very tight, so just be careful. And these are T20, so if you want to know what torques it is, just be careful when you take them out. Don't use the wrong torques bit either, because you will find yourself in big problems if you do that. And as you'll see there, they are now released. So now what we're going to do is go and get the blanks, and we've got to take these gaskets off. We're going to replace all the gaskets, swell flap blanks, the lot. You need to keep the bolts for the blanks to go inside. So guys, as you'll see right here, this is the blank right here, which is going to go inside there. Now these blanks, as you see, they've got a rubber grommet on them. You take out these and then you plug them in there with the screws, which you'll see right here. This is also the gasket which sits right up here as well. So you've got to make sure you replace them. You also get the O-ring ones for down here. So just make sure you replace every single one, because you've got them, so replace them. Don't think of avoiding it, because if you come back, you're going to have to take the manifold off. It's not a big job, no, but you don't want to be coming back and having to do it all again. So we're just going to remove them off like that. You just take them all off. They're not hard to remove. Like I said, very easy. You just take them all out like so. If you can't get them out, just use a pick and take them out. So we're going to take them out, and then we're going to sit these in flush like that. If you can't get them out, you can make sure you've got a pick to just get them back out if need be, and reseat them like I can. You're going to reseat them until they're in flush, which they're in flush, and then you want to be able to tell what the new, don't mix the new ones up with the old ones. Now I can tell which ones are what because of the difference. You're also going to get a new, we also get a new EGR gasket, which we don't need. Again, if you want to know where I got this kit from, it's from X8R, who I order all my bits from, who you guys know. They're in the UK. They're highly known and I trust their parts like anything. X8R, the only place that I can say do this kind of proper blanking kit. So now we've got that removed, you're just going to want to do that, take them bolts out, put them aside, and you're going to want to take out the swell flaps. And the swell flaps can be a bastard to get out, so you want to be careful when you prise them up. Just be careful, as you said, right here. Now, straight there, as you probably will see, the swell flaps have come off. These swell flaps have come off, or someone's took them off before. Now, I don't see that they would have been sucked into the engine, because if they've been sucked into the engine, this engine wouldn't be running. Now, so someone's took them off and just left them blank like that. You can do that, but that's not the way of doing it, because all that will happen is it will cause problems and they will get ganged up and then they can end up falling in. So what you want to do is you just want to replace them properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to slot this in, like as you see here. They're not hard to do. Right here. Then what you're going to want to do is, don't want to lose your bolts to bolt it back down. Diesel is very, very oily, so your fingers are slipping everywhere when doing this. So now what you want to do is we just tighten it down like that. And that's the swell flap in. So now for the next one, you just want to take out the bolts and you just do this for all 6. As you'll see right there, that's now done. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to pull these out, these old ones, and keep them separate, because as you see we've got new ones here. So you just want to plug the new ones back in. Don't mix up the old with the new. We've got new ones, we're going to use them. No need to use old stuff when we've got new stuff. Now X8R's kit is very good, as I say. The kit comes with everything for you to just change everything out in full the first time. Now if you go to a garage and do this, what they like to do, they order the exact same kit from X8R, guys, and I will let you know this, and they will only do your swell flaps. They won't give you the gaskets. They like to keep them for themselves. So be aware of that as well. They'll give you the gaskets and sell you the gaskets, the blanks, for about £30. So now we've got that done. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to reattach the bar itself. Now, this is what I was telling you. You have to reattach the bar to the frame itself. So as you'll see there, you've got to get it in position. But remember, it's vacuum controlled. So it uses vacuum to detect. So now what we've got to do is bolt the screw back up, which is right here. Bolt it back down. And leave the rail in, which is like that. And as you'll see, that's the now swell flaps blanked, and this car is now completely blanked off. And these, my friend, are the old swell flaps now. Just look at the state of them. Now I don't know if they dropped off, who knows, but that is extremely really bad. Now when you look at the difference, these are plastic, probably snap if you touch them. These are the metal. Now they've got no chance of going anywhere. That's now been blanked off. Nothing snapped off, as I can see here. These look like they've just been taken off from the flap itself, so they don't break off. But you're not meant to do it that way. You're meant to blank them, because this bit usually falls off as well. Like I can feel it's all loose. Don't know if you can see it there. It's wobbling about. So that's why you're meant to blank them properly. But as you'll see, the whole swell flaps are now finished and blanked. As you'll see, That's all the swell flaps. Blanks done, manifold all done. So manifold complete. So just to let you know guys, this gasket that they give you with is because they think you're going to take off the EGR here to remove the manifold. As you saw, I didn't do that. I just disconnected the pipe, the sensor, and that was it. Got it out. Because it's blanked, I didn't want to have to do it. We already replaced that when we did the EGR valve blank, which is in one of my other videos. If you guys want to blank off your EGR valve, I have got the video up for doing that fully. I'm blanking it off with the XAR kit, as you'll probably see right under here. You'll see all the pipes have been bunged and blocked off, and down here as well. Everything's been done on this car to blank all the emission related stuff off. All the common problems have been addressed and rid of. This vacuum hose, just remember to reconnect it back onto that T-piece right there, which is the boost pressure regulator, which controls the swell flaps in the turbo. So you want to connect it back onto that pressure solenoid right there. So now what we're going to do is put the manifold back on. Just remember, if you've already replaced this, don't have to take all this EGR valve off, as many people tell you. You don't have to at all. So as you can see guys, we're now putting the manifold back on, and you want to be very, very careful of how you put this back on, because you don't want the little orange things to fall off while doing this. Now, when you connect it, just lower it back down properly. Lower it completely back down, and you want to grab this boost pressure regulator, which is right here, before you even set it back down. And you want to connect up this little vacuum hose to it, which I'm doing right now. As you'll see, we've got that, so we're just putting that back on. As you see right here, it was off, which I don't know why someone had that off, but now it's back on and in place. We have done that now, and now this is the map sensor that you're going to want to reconnect. So after you've done the map sensor guys, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is then you're going to want to come around here, and you're going to want to start bolting all these bolts up. So as you can see, these are 10mm, these are 11mm. Just remember, put the nuts in with your magnet and retighten them back down after you've got them locked on. They're not very easy to do, as you'll see after the map sensor. Just make sure as well you put the 10mm bolt, which is back on the sump itself on the dipstick, and bolt all these bolts back up. As you saw guys, this is not a hard job at all, nothing like the petrol, so do not be scared to try it yourself. It is so easy, especially on the diesels. Piece of piss and done. Okay guys, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to bolt down all the bolts on the car again. As you see, that was all done. Then what you want to do is just reconnect that plug right there. Then what you want to do is now move to, now what you want to do is just move to this one and tighten it all back down. And as you see, it's the manifold all tightened back down. So now after that, you just want to bring your injector harness over to here, and you want to start by plugging them all in, which you'll see right here. As I said to you, very easy to plug it all back up, not hard at all. So you just plug all that back up, and then you just align the bolts to bolt it all back up, and slot that back in here. What you want to do is just put them back down, every single one. So now we're just going to tighten them up, tighten them back, zip them back down, like so. That's all back down now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the sump bolt, which I showed you before, which you can do, and you just want to put that back into place, which is literally right here. So you just want to find the carrier and put it back in, just easily said than done. Very easy to do. If this is tangled up, take it out, pull it under, pull it over here. Very easy. Then you just tighten this back up like that on the dipstick itself, dipstick tube. Now we're just going to tighten that up. So as you see, we're now tightening that all up, and we're now just going to reconnect the EGR port. As you see here, the pipe needs to go back on in the cooler pipe. As you see, just snaps back in. So that's all done now. There you go. Make sure it's all in properly and it can't come out. If it is, just snap it straight in, and then it's snapped in and tight. So everything's now back together, guys. So as you see, that's the swell flaps now complete. Manifolds all bolted back down, all bolts are back down. What you just want to go over and do is just recheck them, which I'm going to do, and everything's perfect. So guys, everything is now complete, and as you guys will probably see, I put the engine hook back on that we took off as well for the engine cover. The engine's all done now. Swell flaps are back down. We're going to start the car up and see how it sounds now. It should sound perfect. Shouldn't sound no different, just the swell flaps have been blanked. Everything should start. It should start up perfectly. We didn't really remove nothing, so if you're thinking it's going to cause any danger, it doesn't. Especially if they're electronic swell flaps, you will get an engine light, but usually you don't have any problems with doing it with the vacuum controlled ones. So guys, fitting is just the same way. Your strut bar back in. As you know, you want to put your strut bar all back on and just reconnect it with your 13mm bolts. Wrap this back around the wiring harness there. Bottom back up your 30mm bolts and your T45 Torx bolts. So as you'll see here, guys, the engine is now back together. We've got it all complete. Strut bars back on. We're now just going to start the car up, get this started, and let you guys hear how it sounds now. So the swell flap's been now deleted. As you see, engine's back complete. It looks like it hadn't even been removed. That's how easy it is. Like I said, anyone can do this. I think even a little child could do it. It's that easy. There's nothing to removing a manifold on these diesels, nothing at all. If you do get stuck, just leave a comment in my box and I'll help you as much as possible, because this is a job that takes literally 5 minutes. It should not take longer than 5 minutes to remove the manifold on this. So as you'll see here, guys, engine's running perfectly. Everything's back together. There's no problems. Car's idling fine, revving fine. Tested everything, there's no lights. Car's perfect. This is job done, guys. Okay guys, so as you've just seen, completed the intake manifold removal to do the swell flap blanks, as you've just seen. So any car that has that engine, whether it be 525 diesel, 530 diesel, 555 diesel, needs to have this done. If it's not done, they can get sucked into the engine and destroy the whole engine, as you saw. Someone had already removed them, but they didn't buy the blanks. They wanted to do it the cheap way. That kind of stuff does not do it. You have to blank them off. You've just seen me complete it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If it does help you, and if you do run into any problems along the line doing this, just please leave a comment in the box below. I'll try and reply to you and try and help you up as much as possible. Remove your manifold a lot easier. It's harder on a 3 Series, more compact engine, but it can be done. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Bmw Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.